In the Fallout Wasteland, a 200-year-old syringe can heal a gunshot wound instantly, a bottle of irradiated soda counts as medicine, and somehow this makes more sense than real American healthcare. Because that's what it actually is. The entire medicine system is meant to criticize every aspect of present-day healthcare. So what does the medicine economy actually look like in the Wasteland? Stim packs, or simulation delivery package if you want to get technical about it like a nerd, are everywhere. Bathroom cabinets, first aid boxes, scattered next to skeletons. Rad-X flushes radiation from your body. The side effect includes everything awful, and it works anyway. Rad-X is morphine. Bethesda literally called it morphine in Fallout 3 until Australia threatened to ban the game. They changed the game, kept the opioid crisis. 5 doses can kill you, 15 guarantees it. Food counts as medicine. Nuka-Cola from 2077 heals you despite containing radioactive isotopes. 200-year-old Salisbury steak gives you health and radiation poisoning simultaneously. The medical system runs on preserved junk food. But where it gets interesting is the medical system works differently depending on who you are. Ghouls have one doctor in the entire capital Wasteland, Dr. Barrows in Underworld. Everyone else won't touch them. In Freeside, the followers run a free clinic that can't keep up with demand while Dixon sells deliberately addictive jet in the alleys outside. Caesar bans all modern medicine for his soldiers but keeps a personal autodoc for his brain tumor. Your species, your faction, your caps determine whether you get surgery or street drugs. The system was designed that way. So where does it all come from? Why does your social class determine the care you're able to receive? And most of all, what does it say about American healthcare? And to answer the first question, we have to look at the 3 megacorporations that controlled pre-war medicine. And you probably knew all 3 of them, but you weren't aware of it. First, there's MedTech Research, which made most of the drugs you're still finding. It started as a legitimate pharmaceutical company, but somewhere along the way, they realized something. If you make the problem and the solution, you control the entire market. So they created Mentats, those addictive brain enhancement pills. And if you think this company was any different to current pharmaceutical giants, you'd be wrong. Sales report summaries show that sales went up 24% in school districts after launch. Seems like they were actively targeting youngsters for their addictive drugs. So when everyone got addicted to Mentats, MedTech released Fixer, an addiction suppression medication. The same terminal shows Fixer's sales went up 12% in seeded zones. They were planning addiction and harvesting the cure. Same company. By the 2060s, they moved on to even bigger ideas. Self-diagnostic tools so people could prescribe their own medicine without doctors. Something called My First Infirmary and My First Laboratory. Devices that would tell you what drugs you need and then produce them. Critics questioned whether medical science or economics was driving those prescriptions, and MedTech didn't care. When October 23rd, the day of the bombs came, MedTech executives got advance warning. They activated evacuation procedures and left. Security locked down the facility and trapped everyone inside. Terminal entries show the security ordered lethal force authorized against escape attempts. The executives saved themselves and condemned everyone else. If that doesn't sound like something pharma giants would do, I don't know what is. Next up, there is Wasteland, which started with good intentions. In 2073, they started the Pan-Immunity Viron project to combat the new plague killing thousands across America. They were trying to save lives. Then they discovered the experimental virus had side effects: increased muscle mass, enhanced brain activity, immunity to radiation, the kind of traits you'd want in a soldier. You can probably tell where this is going. By 2075, the project had a new name, Force Evolutionary Virus, FEV. They relocated research to the Mariposa military base and started testing on human subjects. The goal was super soldiers. In Fallout 3, you see what the research became. Wasteland's Appalachian facility contaminated Hunterville's water supply with FEV in early 2076. They were testing it as a weapon to see what would happen to an unsuspecting civilian population. What happened was super mutants. Wasteland turned pandemic research into the Wasteland's most horrific monsters. The company that started trying to cure diseases ended up creating something that would terrorize survivors for centuries. Seems like a pattern now, doesn't it? Luckily, there was one last company that promised safety. And it was Vault-Tec. They advertised their vaults as sanctuaries from nuclear war. Happy families surviving underground while the surface burned. The government gave them contracts to build 122 vaults across America. 17 were real shelters, the 105 were experiments, designed from the start to torture people. The experiments were the point. Vault 106 in the capital Wasteland pumped a hallucinogenic gas through the ventilation system. Everyone went violently insane. Vault 11 in the Mojave forced residents to vote on human sacrifices. Every year they choose someone to die. The Vault told them this was necessary for survival. After years of doing this, the remaining residents finally refused. The Vault's computer congratulated them and opened the door. It had all been pointless. And there are only 5 people left. 4 of them shot each other in the exit tunnel rather than face what they've done. Vault 95 in the Commonwealth might be the cruelest. Vault-Tec recruited 72 recovering addicts and promised genuine rehabilitation, real therapy, support groups, medical treatment. And for 5 years it worked. People got sober. They built a community. They believed they were safe. And in year 5, a Vault-Tec operative opened a hidden cache of every drug imaginable. Jet, Med-X, that sweet psycho, all of it. Everyone relapsed simultaneously. The community destroyed itself in withdrawal and violence. This is what pre-war healthcare looked like. MedTech equated addiction for profit, Westtech turned cures into bioweapons, and Vault-Tec built trust and then shattered it to collect data. None of this was designed to be a healthcare system. Stimpaks were emergency battlefield medicine. Med-X was to combat anesthesia. These were tools for war, not civilian care. Now those are the origins. After 200 years, that OG supply is meant to run out at some point. You scavenge it from every bathroom and medical cabinet until you realize some people aren't scavenging anymore. They're manufacturing. In New Vegas, the Great Khans run the largest chem operation in the Mojave. Their base at the Red Rock Canyon has a full drug lab. Jack and Diane are the chemists. They'll tell you straight up that most chems you find were made by them, but they didn't learn how to make it themselves. They learned chemistry from the followers of the apocalypse. The followers taught them because they hoped the Khans would make medicine, antidotes for common poisons, actual healthcare. Instead, the Khans turned it into the biggest empire of Jet, Psycho, and Turbo, supplying organized crime across the Mojave. Their biggest client is Motor Runner at Vault 3, who distributes to the Fiends. There's a quest called Abba Dabba Honeymoon, where you become their drug runner. You deliver packages to Motor Runner personally. The game lets you teach Jack new recipes. Slasher, Rocket, Party Time Mentats. You're directly expanding their product line. Fallout 4 goes further. You can become the pharmaceutical industry. Chemistry stations let you craft medicines from raw materials. You need a stim pack? Combine blood packs, antiseptic, and steel. You want Rad-Away? Antiseptic, glowing fungus, purified water. The recipes are right there. But here's where it gets dark. You can also cook jet. Fertilizer, plastic container, and jet fuel made from Brahmin dung. You grow mutt fruit in your settlements, harvest Brahmin waste, add plastic, and you're manufacturing addictive inhalers. The game doesn't stop you. You can build chemistry stations in every settlement. You can assign settlers to farm the ingredients. You can mass produce combat chems and sell them to merchants. You become MedTech. Now, if you want to get dark, we can get real dark. Fallout 3 has something different. The Pit. Asher's baby is immune to the troglodyte degeneration contagion that's killing everyone in the pit. Her blood contains natural antibodies. It could cure thousands of mutated slaves suffering in the steelyard. Werner wants you to kidnap her, take her from Asher, and bring her to the slaves so they can synthesize a cure. Asher is a raider lord using slave labor, but he's also protecting his infant daughter from being used as a medical resource. The quest forces you to choose. Do you kidnap a baby to save slaves? Or let thousands suffer to protect one child? There's no clean answer. Medicine becomes a moral dilemma when there's only one source. But there is hope. Her name is Curie. Vault 81 in Fallout 4 had a secret wing. Down there, a Miss Nanny robot named Curie spent 200 years alone developing a cure for mole rat disease. She ran experiments, refined formulas, and kept meticulous records. She created improved stim packs using something called Mutt Fruit Strain 17, a compound that stimulates platelet production and closes wounds faster. Curie represents genuine post-war medical advancement. Her quest Emergent Behavior lets you transfer her consciousness into a synth body. She gains emotions and immediately starts advocating for synth rights because she understands what it means to be considered property. One robot alone did more for medicine than MedTech, Westtech, and Vault-Tec combined. So that's the supply chain. Most medicine comes from scavenging 200-year-old pharmaceuticals. Some come from criminal manufacturing operations. Some come from players cooking chems in their settlements. And rarely, very rarely, it comes from someone who actually cares about healing people. The Wasteland's medicine doesn't have a system anymore. It has scavengers, criminals, and the occasional idealist working alone in a vault. The corporations are gone, but their products remain, and now everyone's just trying to survive on what's left. And just like in 2026, the healthcare you receive is determined by who you are and what you can pay. At the bottom, you have the desperate. In Fallout 3, if you're a ghoul, there's one doctor who will treat you, Dr. Barrows in the underworld. That's it. One doctor for an entire species. Everyone else looks at ghouls and sees zombies. It doesn't matter that they're still human, still capable of thought and feeling. Smooth skin gets you into Rad-X City's medical bay. Radiation scarring gets you sent into a metro station. Megaton has Doc Church selling supplies from a shack built out of airplane scrap metal. He'll treat you if you have caps, and if you don't, good luck. Little Lamplight is worse. It's a settlement of children who kicked out every adult when they turned 18. Kids are performing surgery on each other because there's nobody else. A 10-year-old with a scalpel is their healthcare system. New Vegas shows you what addiction looks like at a street level. Freeside has the followers of the apocalypse running a free clinic out of the old Mormon fort. Dr. Arcade Gannon and Dr. Yusengani treat everyone who walks through that door. They fund it through charity and expensive cybernetic surgeries for wealthy clients. But the clinic can't keep up. There are too many people and not enough supplies. So in the alleys outside, Dixon sells Jet that's deliberately designed to be more addictive than normal. He targets NCR squatters specifically. His product causes fatal withdrawal without fixer. There are NPCs whose lives he's destroyed. Bill Raunt was an engineer, and now he's a whiskey addict who can't work. Jacob Hoff was a chemist, and Jet ruined him. Locals whisper that Dixon's keeping people dependent on purpose. Addiction as population control. Keep the poor down and desperate. Mid-tier gets you actual doctors, but you're paying for it. Rivet City in the capital Wasteland has Dr. Preston with genuine medical equipment in the aircraft carrier. He's trained, he knows what he's doing, but everything costs caps. He's also working on Project Purity with Dr. Lee, clean water as preventative medicine. If people aren't drinking irradiated sludge, they get sick less often. New Vegas has Dr. Mitchell in Good Springs. He's the gold standard, former Vault 21 resident who's left to work as a traveling doctor, because most Wastelanders don't have medical training. His wife died from an infection after leaving the Vault. Her immune system couldn't handle surface pathogens. He stayed in Good Springs to be near her grave. Mitchell saves the courier for free, performs brain surgery, provides rehabilitation, gives you his personal Pip-Boy. The items in his house aren't even flagged as owned in the game. You can take his medical supplies, and he doesn't care. He represents what medicine should be, care without exploitation. Then there's Diamond City in Fallout 4. Doc Crocker runs the medical practice. Seems professional, clean clinic, fair prices, and he's also secretly addicted to Jet, and he murdered a patient while high, but oh well, the Wasteland has seen worse. Top tier is where the real inequality shows. The Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 3 has an advanced medical bay in the Citadel. Night Captain Kate in Fallout 4 runs the Pride Winds medical facilities. Mandatory physical exams, mental health monitoring, prosthetics for injured soldiers. Proctor Ingram has power armor integrated into her leg prosthetics because she lost her legs, and the Brotherhood had the technology to keep her operational. But this is only for members. You're not in the Brotherhood? You don't get access. Healthcare through military membership. Caesar's Legion takes it further into hypocrisy. Caesar teaches that modern medicine makes humanity weak. He banned all modern medicine for his soldiers. Legionaries have to use healing powder made from plants. It works, but causes hallucinogens and perception penalties. Caesar preaches strength through primitive medicine. But in his tent at Fortification Hill, he has a personal autodoc. When he develops a brain tumor, he uses the most advanced medical technology available to save himself while his soldiers suffer with tribal remedies. The Institute in Fallout 4 is the worst. They're underground in the Commonwealth with the most advanced medical technology in any Fallout game. Their bioscience division can cure anything. They can synthesize any medicine. They created Gen 3 synths through tissue engineering that's decades beyond anything on the surface. They could save the Commonwealth, end the suffering, cure the diseases, but they chose isolation. Your wealth determines what you get. So what does all of this actually mean? Fallout's medicine economy is a mirror, and what it reflects is uncomfortable. MedTech created Mentats and sold Fixer. They invented addiction and sold the cure. Pharmaceutical companies have been accused of this exact same business model, Create dependency, profit from treatment. The opioid crisis happened because companies pushed addictive painkillers and then offered addiction therapy. Same thing happened to Wasteland. Vault-Tec promised safety and conducted experiments, medical trials on unwilling subjects. Vault 95's recovery program that was designed to fail. This happened in Tuskegee between 1932 and 1972. And you can look it up if you don't believe me. The satire isn't subtle because the reality isn't either. Look at the class system. Your faction determines your healthcare. Brotherhood members get the Pride-Wins medical bay, Caesar gets an auto dock while his soldiers use plants, the Institute has unlimited technology underground while the surface dies. That's just insurance. Your employer, your wealth, your zip code determines what care you receive. Fallout made it literal, but the system already exists, and the system is broken. The corporations failed, the factions hoard resources, but individuals still choose to heal. Doc Mitchell gives away his Pip-Boy and saves you for free. The followers run a clinic that never closes. Curie spends 2 centuries developing cures alone. They're choices the writers made about who these characters are. The Wasteland inherited a medical system built on cruelty and profit. 200 years later, the same patterns persist. But so do the people who refuse to participate. That's what the games are saying. The system won't save you, and it wasn't designed to. It was designed to profit from your suffering, but people can still choose differently. Maybe that's the real medicine, not the 200-year-old stim pack, the choice to heal when the world expects you to profit. In the Wasteland, that choice still matters. In our world, it matters even more. Stay healthy out there, Wastelanders.